Hi, I'm James. Welcome to my man cave. This is a critique of the Marlin Model 795 22 long rifle rimfire, the Barska scope, and a good bipod. The rifle itself is extremely well made. It has a slightly thicker barrel than normal. It has 16 micro grooves, which means you have to clean it every time you shoot it, because the micro grooves fill up with cordite and a whole bunch of other stuff. So you want to keep your rifle clean. It shoots straight and true using the Barska scope and this bipod. I went to a range called On Target Shooting Range. It's an indoor range in Laguna Niguel, California. I took it there because their range is 75 feet deep. So I ran a target, which was a big piece of paper with a horizontal line and a vertical line. And I ran it out about 50 feet and started shooting. It was about 4 inches low with the crosshairs lined up and about 2 inches to the left. So you pop this off and you start cranking counterclockwise to make the line, horizontal line, go down, which means you have to, it makes the barrel go up higher. Till I got it lined up at the horizontal line at 50 feet, and then I worked the windage on the side here the same way until I got it back over so it was on the vertical line also, hitting right in the middle of that plus sign. Then I cranked it out to 70 feet, and it was shooting low because the bullet drops as it's flying through the air. And I set it so that it's on target for 70 feet. The only gripe I have about this rifle is the clip shaft. The shaft itself isn't tool steel, it's pot aluminum, soft aluminum. And you slam the clip home, you fire your shots, and then you try and get the clip out, and you have to use a heavy-duty work load because it's going to cut your hands trying to pull that thing out. It's so tight. So my solution, I don't recommend this, but my solution was to take a square, small piece of wood, 100 grit sandpaper, and start sanding the inside very carefully out to the corners, back, the front, the side. Remember, if you're going to do that, you can always take a little more off. You can't put it back on, so go easy until the clip snaps into place. It's firmly in there. It's not going to come out with the shock of the bullets being fired, but it's not so tight that it takes you 10 minutes just to get the darn clip out. When I buy a clip-fed firearm, I'll always buy 2 extra clips because you load 6 clips. The clips hold 8 bullets each, and that way you've got more shooting before you have to stop and reload your clip. It's an excellent rifle. It shoots very straight at 70 feet using the Barska scope. I can put about 30 rounds through a hole this big in the target. If you're going to be shooting varmints, like rabbits or whatever, if it's in a survival situation where if you shoot the rabbit you eat that day, try shooting at a business card, a regular business card, because that's about the size of a rabbit's head, and you want to get a headshot in case you need the pelt for the fur to keep warm. The Barska scope, I bought the cheapest one. It has a fixed focus on this end because I'm nearsighted in my right eye, and farsighted in my left eye. So this works perfect for me. If your vision is anything else, you might want to get the next step up, which has an adjustable focus on this end of the scope. Other than that, it's a wonderful scope. Works just fine. It's very accurate. The shock, when you mount it, torque it down and then go back, torque it down a little more, and tighten it a little more, almost till you think the bolt is going to break, because it does tend to get loose with the shock of firing the rifle, especially if you're firing like 50 or 60 rounds. I went hunting for a bipod because it does make your shooting extremely more accurate. But I kept running into these bipods that are like $300, $400, because it's a specialized bipod for a specialized rifle, and it has this specialized fitting on the end of it. And they had the only game in town mentality, so they set whatever price they want. Finally I found one, this one, for under 20 bucks. And it was at Optics Planet sent away for it. It was $19, and it took them 2 weeks to get it to me. But and this is use the torquing value only. I'm going to get the camera and move it in so you can get a better look at all of this. Alright, that's it. It just has 4 simple bolts, and it clamps on the rifle. What I did was I took some sandpaper and I sanded the barrel back and forth like that, and then I sanded the inside in the same direction, so when you lock it down, it tends to, the little micro grooves tend to interlock with each other, and the shock doesn't make it come loose. The scope is pre-focused, which makes shooting excellent. It's a very lightweight scope and rifle. I'll flip this over and show you the clip shaft. That's it. You can see the pot aluminum, soft aluminum in there. Just a little sanding. It's not very big, doesn't take much sanding. I took my time, so it took me about 20 minutes because I didn't want to make it so loose the clip would fall out after a few shots. There's a whole bunch of YouTube videos about cleaning a rifle, so I'm not going to get into that at all, other than if it's your first time, disassemble it in an exploded view. You lay out a big sheet of paper or newspaper, and part you take off first go out the farthest, and then the part you take off next go in a little closer, and so forth. So when you're putting it back together, you're not wondering what part goes where and when it goes, because if it's the closest one, that goes in first, and then farther out and farther out until you get it back together again. So use the exploded view method. Always use these. You never know. The constant crack going into your right ear eventually does degrade your hearing, and then in the future you don't hear that cool music just as well as you could have. And eye protection is always a very good idea. And that's it. That's my critique for the Marlin 795 rifle, the Barska scope, and the bipod. At the end of this, I'm going to put up all the websites in graphics. All you have to do is press pause, and if you wish, you can write those down and go to those websites and check them out. That's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.